Right, so how do you fancy having Israel Lobbyist and Labour fixer Luke Akehurst as your next MP? What a sales pitch, what a prize. How do you, if you are still involved with Labour in our local Constituency Labour Party, fancy having him or another member of the right-wing Labour National Executive Committee, the sort of people who have been barring socialist candidates from standing, rigging and imposing other candidates to represent Labour across the country, suspending and expelling good socialists left, right and centre, now be imposed on you as your parliamentary candidate, and you will be expected to go out and campaign for them? Well, it is apparently happening. After throwing any semblance of democracy out of the window to impose Starmerroid candidates upon various corners of the country, removing the say of local members, they being told to put up or shut up or there is the door, but don't forget to still vote for us at the same time, it seems some select seats have been kept aside for some members of the NEC themselves and other cronies. Jobs for the boys, so to speak, rewards for services rendered, nice safe seats, and very much putting party before country when local members have no say, and being safe seats almost guarantees them to be making laws we all have to abide by should Labour win a majority, them clearly standing a very, very high chance of being elected. As authoritarian as they have been within Labour, that looks set to roll out nationwide with Starmer as PM. Right, so when Keir Starmer stood up the other day, called himself a socialist and a progressive, many of us, I'm sure, either laughed at the article it was written in, The Guardian, or swore at it because there are Starmer lies and there are Starmer lies, and this one was a king-sized whopper. Socialists have been purged, and if his stance on Gaza and having a manifesto basically copying the Tories' homework is progressive, then we need far more radical change than I ever realised. It is, of course, a lie. He's a red Tory providing cover for Israel, who got where he is by lying his way to the top, and now he wants to get elected by lying some more. And it's because those lies have never been challenged adequately in the media that he's got away with it for so long. But a reckoning lies before him, if he gets his way, gets where his ambitions want to take him, because the only place he can go from Prime Ministership is to fall. But in the same speech, he also swore to put country before party. Now, many of us have asked, well, which country would that be then, Keith? Because would it be this one or Israel? I wouldn't like to bet money on it myself. And now with news that some of the final imposed candidates on luckless constituency Labour parties are set to be right-wing members, Starmer loyalists of the Labour Party NEC in some cases, set to be handed very safe seats of varying sort or another, soon these people who have been handing down draconian rulings, suspensions and expulsions in the Labour Party will be gifted a position where, should Starmer win the keys to number 10, they'll be making laws governing the entire country. The UK being run like Starmer runs Labour now, with an authoritarian hardline rod of iron, the likes of which we may never have seen before. Give Labour and Starmer a majority at your peril. The news of these impositions has come via former Channel 4 reporter Michael Crick's Tomorrow's MP's Twitter account. And he made the very salient point that if Starmer is stuffing cronies such as these into the House of Commons, what will it look like when it comes to stuffing the House of Lords with even more of them, as he no doubt would, and how rough will they be? Well, I'm paraphrasing there. So much for abolishing the Lords, though, eh? Crick has called it the final big selection fix, because he knows exactly how things are being conducted in Starmer's regime, and currently there are apparently 11 safe Labour seats, by his reckoning, that will need to be filled, and in line with that postulation regarding the House of Lords, more are being sought by soliciting sitting MPs who might be interested in retiring in exchange for a seat in said House of Lords, making room for even more imposed cronies, virtually guaranteed under first past the post to get elected. If you think Starmer would abolish a voting system that is enabling him to rig the future government on this level, you've got another thing coming. So who's in the frame then? Crick has furnished us with a little list of names, and there are several from Labour's current iteration of the National Executive Committee appearing on it. Let's start with Luke Akehurst, though, who fancies this guy as an MP. Akehurst is a guy who couldn't even win selection for the NEC from his own local party in Oxford. He was reliant on right-wing support from elsewhere in the country to get where he is, so those who know him best are the ones you likely best note of, really. I've spoken of Akehurst in numerous videos. He is, above all else, an Israel lobbyist. He's the director of We Believe in Israel, a promotional organ for the Israeli state here in the UK. In fact, the blurb on the We Believe in Israel website describes him specifically as a Zionist activist. And in a recent Labour list article claiming councillors quitting Labour over Israel and Gaza, as they are in droves around the country, certainly something I've reported on in other videos, something else would-be Labour voters ought to take notice of, perhaps. According to Akehurst, these are misguided, and they should stay instead. Misguided, eh? He penned that article, incidentally, on the 24th of October last year, where he talked about them being misguided. That was literally 5 days after the targeting of the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Porphyrius in Gaza, which killed dozens sheltering there, and was arguably one of the first attacks by Israel on Gaza that had the world sit up and think, hang on a minute, something's wrong here, this isn't supposed to happen. And of course, in the months since, we've now seen so much more happen, so much categorically worse than that first church attack, which at the time was really shocking to a lot of us. Misguided, Akehurst says. This guy makes Starmer look like he's sitting on the fence over Israel. He's that devout to them. He's also a fixer within Labour, being a director of the right-wing Labour to Win faction and Secretary of Labour First. Really on the nose when Starmer is trying to tell us it is country first. Yet looks set to impose Akehurst possibly, reviled by so many Labour members as he is, in a safe seat somewhere. But unlike others on this Crick list, there's no indication of where exactly that might be. And when Crick apparently asked Akehurst if he was looking for a safe seat, he didn't deny it. But Akehurst is just one NEC name here. Let's have a look at a few more. James Asser. He might not be a household name quite so much as Akehurst, if we can even call Akehurst a household name really. But he's currently the chairman of the National Executive Committee, and he's the deputy mayor of Newham, a London borough that has seen a succession of local by-election defeats and defections, losing all of the above to the newly formed Newham Independence Group. Newham has been solidly Labour for years and years and years, yet in recent months, history's been made as Labour lost local council seats to independents for the first time ever in Tahir Mirza and Sophia Naqvi, both formerly Labour themselves, unable to stomach the direction the party has gone in under Starmer. Now both are standing for Parliament for East Ham and West Ham respectively, and Crick has got Asser's name linked to West Ham right now, despite there being an incumbent MP for Labour there, Lynn Brown, still, as far as I'm aware, standing for re-election. So is she one being offered a seat in the Lords? Who knows? Another NEC member on Crick's list is Gurinder Singh Joseph, not only an NEC member, but another Labour First figure as well, so a mate of Akehurst. He's a former Sandwell councillor as well, a West Midlands patch regarded as a plaything of the Labour right for a long time. One notable example involving Joseph was the allegations of him bullying a blind party member, and also having worked with local Tories to bring down a Muslim Labour councillor. Josan is also a board member of Hope Not Hate, supposedly to stand against racism therefore, but has often been viewed as one of the perpetrators of false accusations thereof. His name has been attached to the Smethwick constituency. This will be a new seat, new constituency, although it used to exist previously before. It was abolished back in 1974, but the new boundary changes are bringing it back into existence. Ironically, since this seat is taking in the entirety of the soon-to-be abolished constituency of Worley, where the incumbent MP is the right-wing John Speller, he who is retiring, ironically, Josan, by taking this seat, by covering this patch, if he gets elected to it, might actually still count as a lurch to the left, given how right-wing Speller was. But other names Crick has put forward as Labour preferential candidates include Josh Simons, the director of Labour Together, the right-wing Labour grouping representing MPs like Wes Streeting and Lisa Nandy, which counts amongst their board the ever-pervasive Zionist Labour donor Trevor Chin, who also financed Keir Starmer's leadership campaign. He also featured in a video of mine from just yesterday, sharing a platform with anti-Muslim journalist Melanie Phillips as she went again and attacked Muslims within Labour. Another candidate on the list is Gerard Coyne, who these days tends to go by Jed Coyne, presumably to hide from his serial losses in trying to take over the Unite Union. Some real peaches there too. Safe seats for awful people, but very much Starmer's sort. Party before country, very much so. So socialist, my foot, progressive, my backside. Authoritarianism, well, they've been part of it, haven't they? A vote for Labour is a vote for the country to be run as this lot have been running Labour. A dictatorship in waiting, in my view. And frankly, as we see Starmer welcoming in so many Tories to the party, it's little wonder he feels so comfortable doing so when he has surrounded himself by people who are a little better. These people are everything Labour shouldn't be about. Everything wrong with the Labour Party these days. And this video recommendation will offer up another example of that, involving our old friend Luke Akehurst again, and the appalling comments he's made against a former Jewish member of Labour. And I'll hopefully catch you on the next vid. Cheers, folks.